It's official, Karoline Leavitt has done the unthinkable. She won.
Think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
It's official, Karoline Leavitt has done the unthinkable. After months of courtroom theatrics, viral chaos, and frantic damage control from ABC higher-ups, she has just won her jaw-dropping $800 million defamation lawsuit against The View. Yes, you read that right. The once untouchable daytime juggernaut has taken the hardest hit in its history. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin are reportedly stunned, credibility shaken, their network thrown into full-blown crisis. As for Karoline? She didn't just win, she changed the entire game. This isn't merely a personal victory, it's a seismic cultural moment. A reset. Someone finally stood up to legacy media and said, no more. So how did we get here? What exactly did The View say to spark this legal firestorm? And how did Karoline Leavitt turn a viral media hit job into an $800 million legal knockout? Strap in, this one's a roller coaster. But before we dive into the chaos, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. What you're about to hear just might change the way you see daytime TV forever. Subscribed? Perfect. Let's unpack this. Like most media meltdowns on The View, it all started with a smirk, a condescending glance, and a jab so polished it could have been scripted. Karoline Leavitt didn't walk into that studio blind. She knew exactly what it was, a minefield, especially for right-leaning women. But she stepped in anyway. Confident suit, calm demeanor, voice steady. She came to discuss national defense, civic engagement, and serious policy. Her mission, deliver facts, speak up, and hold her ground. What she got instead? A live ambush dressed up as lighthearted daytime banter.
They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
Joy Behar led the charge. She squinted across the table, her voice dripping with sarcasm, and leaned in with that signature smirk, sharp enough to sour cream. Come on, she said. Karoline's not here for her intellect. Trump probably just thinks she's a 10. The studio didn't erupt in chuckles, it detonated with the kind of laughter meant to wound. Applause, snorts, mocking grins. It all landed like punches. Then came Sunny Hostin, not even waiting for the noise to settle. She lobbed her own grenade. Let's be honest. This isn't about qualifications, she's just a poster child for privilege. End of story. It was a pile-on. Ruthless. Unapologetic. And just when it seemed they might move on, Whoopi Goldberg leaned back, arms crossed, and delivered the line that would ignite a media wildfire. If it weren't for wokeness, you wouldn't even have a job. Boom. That was the spark. Within hours, the clip went viral. Hashtags like hashtag Karoline Setup and hashtag The View Unhinged were trending across platforms. And Karoline? No flinching. No angry Twitter thread. No tearful Instagram live. She simply adjusted her blazer, took a slow sip of water, and smiled.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
These women are completely out of touch with reality, and you're right, ABC should wake up.
In that moment, Karoline didn't flinch. She was ready. And the second the cameras stopped rolling, she made the call that would flip the entire script. She dialed her legal team. Then the headlines hit like thunderclaps. Karoline Leavitt sues The View for $800 million. ABC in turmoil after explosive defamation suit. Conservative powerhouse drops legal bombshell on daytime TV. Just like that, the smirks vanished. This wasn't Twitter drama. This wasn't a partisan spat. This was war. Leavitt filed an $800 million lawsuit backed by a top-tier legal team, airtight documentation, and a digital arsenal of footage that painted The View as something far worse than combative. It looked calculated. Ruthless. A smear machine. At the heart of it, one core accusation: character assassination. But this wasn't some murky he said she said. Karoline's legal team came prepared, armed with receipts. They submitted transcripts, every jab, every sarcastic remark, word for word. They handed over raw footage, including off-air moments, snickers, eye rolls, even high-fives between segments. Then came the internal Slack messages, producers openly discussing how to provoke Karoline on air. The final blow? Pre-show prep notes with one damning line. Let Joy open with the looks jab. Whoopi will end it with a dagger. There it was, the smoking gun. This wasn't unscripted daytime talk. This was a coordinated takedown, dressed up as banter. ABC was blindsided. Executives scrambled. Legal scrambled harder. PR teams pulled all-nighters. Suspensions were floated. Behind the scenes, network-wide panic spread like wildfire. Even insiders admitted it, this wasn't just a PR disaster. It was an implosion.
President Trump's life echoed the sentiment that President Trump is a threat to democracy. And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie. And yes, you will take political violence like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a Nazi. That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day.
Suddenly, Karoline Leavitt wasn't just another guest on a talk show, she was the woman who shattered the illusion of harmless banter, the one who ripped the mask off performative media ambushes. She wasn't trending for a viral quip. She was trending because she did the unthinkable, she made The View face consequences for years of unchecked bias. And this? This was only the beginning. The moment the lawsuit hit national headlines, everything at ABC changed. Smug turned to scramble. Behind the polished sets and the sparkling studio lights, chaos unfolded. The loudest voices were whispering. The habitual laughers? Silent. According to insiders, the first to fold was none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Yes, that Whoopi. The unshakable moderator. The queen of comebacks. The woman who once brushed off controversy like lint. But not this time. Word is, Whoopi reached out to a former colleague, someone who had ties to both her and Karoline. Her tone? Uncharacteristically careful. Can we meet, just talk? We don't have to let this get worse. But it already had. Next was Joy Behar. On air? All fire and fearlessness. Off air? A different story. Sources say Joy personally phoned one of Karoline's lawyers, yes, picked up the phone herself, quietly asking if there was a way to settle things. Discreetly. She even allegedly floated the idea of drafting a public statement, maybe even an apology. It reeked of desperation. And then came Sunny Hostin. No small talk. No pleasantries. Just panic. The only trained attorney at the table, Sunny knew exactly how serious this was. Fast. She quietly began consulting with her own legal team, separate from ABC's. Word is, she was terrified of personal liability. She reportedly asked more than once if she could be removed from the lawsuit altogether. Meanwhile, Karoline's team didn't flinch. While The View scrambled to smother the legal inferno, Karoline's camp calmly, methodically stoked the flames.
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
ABC's boardroom had become a war zone. Emergency meetings were held daily. Executives clashed over every option, settlements, public statements, and even, unthinkably, canceling The View. The word cancellation first surfaced as a hushed whisper during a midnight strategy session between top legal counsel and crisis PR. But whispers don't stay quiet for long. Staff overheard. Texts leaked. Twitter ignited like a live wire. The View, once a daytime juggernaut, had become a liability. But Karoline? She didn't flinch. She didn't blink. Her legal team issued a one-sentence statement that echoed through Hollywood. Accountability cannot be negotiated. That changed everything. While The View scrambled to issue apologies, hoping to soften the blow, Karoline made her intentions clear, they were going all the way. Then came the showdown everyone had been bracing for. The courtroom was chaos, media everywhere, camera flashes, a packed gallery that felt more like a red carpet premiere than a legal battle. Karoline Leavitt versus. The View had officially begun, and it felt more like the Emmys than a trial. Karoline entered like a storm wrapped in silk. Navy suit. Composed. Not a hair out of place. No entourage. No theatrics. Just control. She took her seat, folded her hands, and waited. Across the aisle, a stark contrast. The hosts looked defeated. Whoopi Goldberg, once the show's fearless face, wore sunglasses indoors. No eye contact. Shoulders tense. Hands trembling. Next to her, Joy Behar sat pale and silent. Not a single wisecrack. Not even a nervous one. Sunny Hostin fidgeted with legal documents like they were rosary beads, her expression barely masking panic. Then the trial began. Karoline's team wasted no time. They opened with footage, a slow-motion montage of the segment in question. It was devastating. Insult after insult. Clip after clip. A wall of mockery built brick by brick. The courtroom fell into silence. Every breath was magnified by tension. Then came the evidence, emails, Slack messages, meeting notes. One slide took over the screen in bold. We need a viral moment. Karoline's the target today. Gasps. Jurors glanced at one another. One covered her mouth. Another shook his head. And then, the clincher, a leaked voice memo from a producer after the episode. We got what we needed. She cracked. Only, she hadn't. Karoline sat still, unfazed, watching like she'd already seen this movie. Whoopi's head dropped. Joy reached for her water but couldn't drink. Sunny couldn't stop shifting in her seat. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a takedown. And Karoline wasn't just winning, she was rewriting the rules. Then came the verdict. The courtroom held its breath. Reporters scribbled furiously. The jury returned, faces unreadable. The foreperson stood and read the decision. On the count of defamation, we find the defendants liable. Boom. The word echoed through the courtroom like a thunderclap. But it wasn't over. ABC and The View's co-hosts were ordered to pay $800 million in damages. Let that sink in. $800 million. This wasn't just a loss, it was a reckoning. The internet erupted. Twitter melted. TikTok exploded with reaction videos. YouTubers streamed their takes in real time, some even cried. Hashtags flew. Hashtag Karoline wins. Hashtag The View on trial. Hashtag media reckoning. Hashtag Whoopi wrecked. News anchors were stunned. One said live on air, "We just witnessed the most expensive talk show mistake in TV history." And Karoline? No gloating. No speeches. She thanked her team, smiled at the cameras, and walked out with grace. The View wasn't just reporting the headlines anymore. They were the headline.
The most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world.
The morning after the verdict, ABC was in absolute chaos. Panic had reached a new peak. According to insiders, top advertisers, including some of the world's biggest brands, pulled out within hours. PR teams were overwhelmed. Legal departments were working around the clock. Executives were locked in emergency meetings, reportedly debating whether The View should be rebranded or shut down entirely. One leaked internal memo summed it up with brutal honesty. "We underestimated this guest. We underestimated this lawsuit. And now we're facing the worst PR crisis in network history." It was stamped, urgent. As for the hosts? Whoopi Goldberg hasn't returned to set. Joy Behar has gone completely silent. Sunny Hostin, radio silence. Producers are dodging reporters, canceling interviews, and avoiding cameras. Backstage, insiders say the atmosphere feels less like a workplace and more like a wake. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt is being hailed as a new icon for media accountability. Once dismissed as a fringe political figure, she's now being called the conservative AOC. Her social media is exploding, follower counts soaring, comment sections flooded with praise. One viral tweet captured the sentiment perfectly. Karoline didn't just win in court. She won a generation's trust. Another simply read, "The girl who took on daytime TV and won."
There's a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration.
Some fans have taken the moment even further, turning it into a cultural statement. T-shirts with the phrase $800 million equals silence boldly stamped across the chest. Stickers that read, "Next time you mock someone, lawyer up," are popping up everywhere. It's not just merchandise, it's a movement. Meanwhile, as The View scrambles to salvage what's left of its reputation, Karoline stands taller than ever. Her victory has transcended the courtroom. It's become a symbol of accountability and strength.
Do you want to take this?
No, you cannot be attractive and smart. I will try to give Joy the benefit, and well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing, because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark.
What happens now? The ripple effects are already in motion. Talk show producers are scrambling to rewrite guest protocols. Legal teams are rushing to train hosts on what not to say. Media executives are convening behind closed doors, discussing how to tighten control over live narratives. The View made one thing abundantly clear: you can't just say whatever you want and walk away smirking, not with Karoline Leavitt in the audience. Not when the silence is finally breaking. And Karoline? She's not shouting. She's not gloating. She's not even slowing down. She's just winning, with receipts, strategy, and a calm voice that rattled one of the loudest platforms in television to its very core. Let's be honest, this verdict didn't just flip Karoline's world. It flipped everything. Every host. Every producer. Every network. They've all just learned a lesson they won't forget. Words have weight, and now, they have consequences.
Yes, and as you mentioned, with conservative women, there's a long list of that, both of Trump's previous press secretaries, females, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, other figures like his campaign manager the first time, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Palin very famously had to bear the brunt of a lot of this. So people are used to that. I think in their bubble of the audience that The View speaks to, that's probably kind of what the groupthink is. So one defense, I guess, is that she was speaking to her audience, but you take it outside of that bubble the way you are right now, and we all can see.
Now it's your turn. Was Karoline right to take this fight all the way to court? Did The View finally cross a line that can't be undone? And are we witnessing the dawn of a new era, one where media is held accountable for its words? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading every single one. And before you bounce, smash that like button if you believe truth still matters. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a single update on this unfolding story, because Karoline Leavitt just proved something huge. This isn't a punchline anymore. It's a verdict. And The View may never recover. Stay tuned.